All right, this is a syllabus. I want to go through that in just a second, but before I get there, I want to walk you through what a module is going to look like each week. This is just another way to look at the information that's covered in the syllabus. We have 16 modules in this semester, and that coincides with the 16 weeks in the semester. So every week of the semester, you'll have a module. And Module 1, Week 1, they're kind of interchangeable that way that we work through it here. This is the only week where you have two buttons that are going to be active because you need to get some information out of the course information section. And then you move into Module 1 here, and your due date for this is this coming Friday, August 30th. And then what happens is Module 1 locks, Module 2 opens. And now you have 7 days, another week to complete the whole module. When you do it is up to you. It's a great thing about online classes. It's also a challenge for some people. You have to get in a routine and not wait till the last minute. And here's the reason why. Once a module closes, I don't reopen it. I just finished up a summer session of this class. Too many people waited to the very last minute to take the final. And a gentleman had computer problems and was unable to get in before the final closed. The final does not reopen. So that gentleman lost the chance to earn 200 points, and 100 points is a whole grade step up. So word to the wise, caution, caution. Do your modules early. Do not wait till the last minute in case you too have some kind of a problem. Okay? That said, Module 1 and Module 2, I'll explain this a little bit later in the course, under points, how you earn them. 1 and 2 are practice modules. You get in, whatever you do, however you work through it, whatever your score is. Some point in later in the semester, I go back into 1 and 2, and I give you a full 50 points, which is what a module is normally worth. And that becomes your extra credit, because I do know life will get in the way. You will miss, many folks do, they missed a quiz. Instead of reopening, instead of doing extra credit, I give you this extra credit in these two modules right here. And that way, when something happens, you have that in the bank. You have to work through Module 1 and 2 to get those points, though. Now, let's hop into a module. When you click on this button, it's going to take you to each one of the modules has an introduction page. You're going to see what the movie is this week. And in this area, these are things that I need you to do. Here's your due date, and then you hit next. Housekeeping. Housekeeping is my opportunity to give you any updated information. So what you're going to find is the lecture modules, they don't change. The history of these films don't change. So that module is something I recorded 2 semesters ago, and it's still relevant and still works. So I don't recut that. However, if people are having a problem, if there's something that I have to draw your attention to, I do it here in the housekeeping video. So this one you want to hit so that I can give you a heads up. This will happen in Thanksgiving. Things that will happen is the midterm. Midterms were 200 points instead of 50. Same with the final. You want to check into the housekeeping video and see what's going on there. Then next, now in here, this is where the lecture is, and for the first couple of lectures, I actually want to use clips from the movie. I can't post clips from the movie on YouTube, so I've had to password protect them on Vimeo. So when you get to the lecture portion of this, I want you to click on this link. That'll take you to it. Here's the password, upper, lowercase, it's case sensitive, type in bicycle. And then the lecture's there with scenes that are cut. I have to do that for 2 or 3 weeks until we all have the kind of same vocabulary. And then we just move to YouTube because I don't have to publish any clips. So here's key concepts. the lecture, and then there's a closed caption version if you use that. Now, in the contextual videos, this is just a place where if I found something online that'll help support the lecture or the readings, then I'll put it in here. Sometimes there's a few minutes of a behind-the-scenes documentary. In this case, this is just going back through some of the film history. And then what I want you to do is, this is the time that you want to watch the movie, okay? So you close out of this, you watch the movie. When you're done with that, you come into Module 3. Here's the discussion board. It's now closed because this is pre-programmed to open up that Friday, that Module 3 opens up. There's going to be a question here. Usually there's 2. You need to do 2 paragraphs. Make sure that you're answering my question. Here's a bit of advice. Don't spend time telling us what the narrative, what the story is of the film, all right? We've all read about it and we've all watched it. So what you want to do is go right to looking at the question and hop in and answer that, all right? That's the cleanest way to do it. When that's done, you're going to hop in and then take the quiz. There are 40 points, which is 8 questions. There's a bunch of questions that are in a pool, and then Canvas just randomly pulls them out. So if you're taking the course with somebody else and you have a question and they didn't get that, that's normal, okay? And then when we get to midterm, the midterm questions pull from each one of these module quizzes. And that will be much larger. Like I say, that's worth 200 points instead of 50. You do not want to miss midterm, don't want to miss the final. All right, so when you're done with that, this tells you that everything's complete. All right, so let me go back here just so you can see this. There's one other thing about the discussion board. You post, all right, when you hit the discussion board, you're going to see the base page that I created that everybody sees, and that should be about it, okay? The way that this thing is programmed is you have to answer the questions before you see what your colleagues have posted, all right? And it's a way to mitigate borrowing from other people's ideas, all right? And that's the whole point of that. So you need to make your initial post, and then when that's done, and then you see everybody else's posts, now pick 2 and go back in and respond to them. This has proven to be pretty instructional, pretty helpful. That's why I keep it. A lot of people have some really intelligent things to say, and it's good to read what your colleagues are saying. So you have to do that. You have to score better than 5 points in here to keep the points in the quiz. All right. So let me say that again. You have to post in the discussion board, and you have to respond to your colleagues so that you get 5 points in here. Discussion board's worth 10 points. And then that way you can keep the quiz points. The reason I had to do this is when I first put this up and started using it, some people didn't want to do discussion boards. They just went in and did the quiz, which some of those are true and false, and then they moved on. And they weren't doing the work that was required for a week's worth of college class. So that's how we solved that. All right, so that's how your module works in with little variation. This is how it's going to work for you each and every week. I hope this is a little bit helpful, give you an idea of what's going on. All right, so I touched on some of this stuff. Here's our syllabus. It's already posted. You can download it. You can print it out. You can just save it as a file. I do recommend that you have it handy. Here's how you get a hold of me. Email's the best way. I'm pretty good about hitting that, responding to you. This is what the course is all about. You're going to watch a short this week, and then there's going to be 15 full-length features after that, 1 per week. And those are all predetermined, as you know from my earlier email. One of the things that's important to point out here is a lot of people start off thinking, as they're going to be a great class, they're going to sit around and watch Fast and Furious, and that's exactly what we're not going to do. All right, so if that's what you were hoping for, this may not be a great place for you. You might want to shift gears and get into something else. The whole point of this class is that you understand the process of how film has developed as an art form. And the way that I teach it is to cover 5 main areas of production, and you're going to be able to watch those areas develop. At the end of the day, what I hope you get out of this is a clear appreciation for the discipline, for the art form. And it really will give you some tools to analyze all the fun films that you do watch, all right? But to stress, this is not a let's go to the movies on Friday night. It's actually harder than that. And some of these films are not films that your friends are going to be interested in. But they've been selected for very specific reasons based on time and development of the theme. And all of them, from that standpoint, are interesting in terms of analysis. Here's your objectives. This is the thing that I mentioned before. I don't give any extra credit. 0, none, absolutely not. Can't do a paper, can't make anything up, okay? So you have to manage your schedule so that you are finishing your assignments on time and before the module closes. All right, and here in the syllabus it says Monday. For our semester, this semester, I've switched that to Friday, which gives us a weekend extra here, okay? Communication, there we go. Disclaimer, there's a couple of films that are violent. If you're morally opposed to these films, I absolutely respect that. You just have to email me and we'll work this out in advance, okay? You can't wait till 4:45 on the night that module is due and then say that you object to it because you've had a whole week, okay? So you need to do that up front. Attendance, how do they do it on an online class? It's a combination of all the time that you spend in the course Canvas modules, all right? So they track that. Not only do they look at time and how long it takes you to do stuff, they're looking to make sure that you're completing the discussion boards, the quizzes. That all adds up in some way for them to calculate attendance. And in the community college system, attendance is important because that's the metric for the college to get paid. All right? If you decide not to do any of the coursework for 2 weeks, 2 modules, it's like missing two weeks in a semester, and then you usually just get dropped from the class. Deadlines, I covered that. Cheating, so it always cracks me up that we have to talk about cheating in a film or an art class. If you have to cheat in your painting class, don't take that class. There's a million ways to cheat on this thing. To be honest with you, it's really up to you to work through this. I have tons of material here. You can choose whether you work through it or not. I don't track it. Now, I will say that the way that I've designed the questions on the discussion board and how you answer them, they're questions that are designed to see what you're getting out of the movie. So that's my way to get a handle on if you're able to keep up and watch the movies. If you can't get to one week, remember I've built it in here, 2 modules, 100 points for extra credit. You can take a week off. That's perfectly okay. you still have an opportunity to make 900 points in here and get yourself an A. All right. But I have had people that have cheated. Don't is all I'm going to say about that. There's a reason the course is designed this way. You have to post before you can see what others are doing, so you can't take their work. And then you do need to respond professionally to your colleagues. You don't have to agree, but you have to be professional. And you have to use the grammar that I'm going to teach you in here to talk about film. So this is not a question about your opinion. It's your ability to analyze the work, the film. Okay. So that disclaimer is in there so that if you get caught cheating, I can bounce you from the class. Special needs. We've gotten some people through here, and it's not that tough. So your job in this is that you have to let me know if you're connected with DSPS and where you need some extra help or time. Just let me know. It's easy to make this accessible for most everybody, so let me know how I can help. So here you go. This is all 16 of our weeks. These are the films that you're going to be assigned. And what you may not be able to see right yet is that it does develop in terms of an art form from the Bicycle Thieves all the way down to Fantastic Mr. Fox. So that's what your semester looks like. Here's what a week looks like in a syllabus format, but we just kind of went through it in the modules. And here's what your points. I have a little 2-minute, 3-minute video that explains this. The point to make here is that there's 1,100 total points that are possible in the class. These two are going to score as zeros for you the first 2 weeks. I'm going to go back and give you those 50 if you work through the modules. These become your extra credit, and then from here on out, it's 1,000 points, and this 1,000-point scale is how you're graded. So it works out pretty good. So here's your module due dates. It's here. It's going to be built into Canvas. You'll probably not come back to have to see it, but the things that I want to point out for you here is mark these down this week right here. When you hit the midterm, each one of these quizzes, a regular module week is worth 50 points. This is 200. This is 200. 400 points is just way too many. You can't miss week 8 and week 16 and succeed in the class. So put those in your calendar. Make sure that you have time dedicated to study and get ready for the midterm and for the final. And those will be explained in detail in each module. All right, there you go. Syllabus and how to work through the modules. Now on into Module 1. Cheers.